we must be living in an alternate reality because Stephen A. Smith is not only defending Jasmine Crockett, but he is endorsing her for Senate. Now, if you know anything between Stephen A. Smith and Jasmine Crockett, their relationship hasn't been so great. However, he is committed to supporting her during the election. And he also calls out the whole Stephen Colbert and CBS issue. Let's go ahead and check out this video. But first, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it, y'all. All right, so Stephen A. Smith starts out by taking a few phone calls, and this is one caller from Michigan calling in regarding the situation, and then there's a second part that I'm going to show you guys. Here we go.
Be on with Chris tonight?
Yes, I am. I'll be on with Chris Cuomo at the top of the hour on News Nation. Yes, sir.
Very good. Hey, I got to ask you, what happened with Colbert and Paramount?
Yes.
And Paramount stifling Colbert, maybe arguably freedom of speech. Does it give you pause that corporations can define and limit one's First Amendment and free speech?
A couple of things to point to. Number one, could y'all give me that statement by Paramount, please? Because Stephen Colbert said one thing, but the CBS statement said another thing entirely. Let me read it to you, Greg. It says, The Late Show was not prohibited by CBS from broadcasting the interview with Representative James Tallarico. The show was provided legal guidance that the broadcast could trigger the FCC equal time rule for two other candidates, including Representative Jasmine Crockett, and presented options for how the equal time for other candidates could be fulfilled. The Late Show decided to present the interview through its YouTube channel with on-air promotion on the broadcast rather than potentially providing the equal time option. That is according to CBS. So CBS is just saying they just presented the FCC equal time situation to them. And then it was the Colbert Show who made the decision to do what they do. And then we just read this, just so you know, Greg, because I want to make sure that I have this information right here on point for you. It says here, say goodbye to most appearances by political candidates on daytime and late night talk shows, courtesy of The Hollywood Reporter. Here's what my response to that would be. Respectfully, late night brought it on themselves. And I don't support these restrictions against them. I am a fan of Jimmy Kimmel. I am a fan of Stephen Colbert. I am a fan of Jimmy Fallon. Here's all I'm saying, Greg. This is my issue. These are brilliant, brilliant late night hosts who are comedic geniuses. Why not go after everybody?
Here's the thing with that. I do think there needs to be a balance on TV. That's completely fine. But let's not forget that there's a whole Fox News. You know, there's plenty of right-wing propaganda. They kind of have the Fox News and the podcast bros. They have that on lock. So there needs to be a place of balance. So yeah, late night shows, that's the place of balance. You know, that's how it goes. But also, too, you have to think about this. Kimmel, Colbert, you know, so many of the late night hosts have been attacked. So this is a reaction to them being attacked. So again, if you are a part of administration or you the president and you're attacking me, yeah, my commentary isn't going to be favorable. And Stephen A. Smith be with that BS all like, oh, you have to talk to him nicely and do this and that. No, you should be able to criticize anybody that you want to. We have freedom of speech in this country.
See, the problem is that everybody talked about Trump so much that it was so one-sided because it's clear, you know, the disgust and the vitriol he evokes and they felt for him. But you got to hit everybody when you're a comedian. Nobody is supposed to be safe. No one is supposed to be spared. And the real problem with our society is that because we got so politically correct and so our sensitivities have been so heightened, it actually affected the comedic world. Why do you think Dave Chappelle goes on Netflix and says what he wants? Because he knows he should be allowed to. Because once upon a time, he was.
But Dave Chappelle also talks about Trump too as well. See, when I want to praise him, all of a sudden he do something stupid. But I wanted to get back to the point of Stephen A. Smith calling out, the Colbert Show, because basically all they had to do was have Jasmine Crockett on the show. That's it. That's it. That's all. They had to allow enough time for all the candidates, and especially with early voting happening. And, just the fact that Tallarico was able to raise $2.5 million from them not allowing the show on TV and then just uploading it to YouTube and making this whole controversy, that helped boost Tallarico. And who's to say, because everybody's saying like, oh, CBS and Trump lied. Who's to say that Stephen Colbert and Tallarico didn't plan this so then it can give him a boost? Because why didn't Colbert reach out to Jasmine Crockett's team and be like, hey, when would you like to come on the show? And Jasmine Crockett said she wasn't against him doing it, doing the show. She was just wondering like, okay, well, were you guys going to reach out to us at all? Again, we talked about this yesterday, but Stephen A. Smith, he's telling the truth about that. Now, I want to go ahead and skip ahead to the 125 mark. This is where he gives his endorsement of Crockett. So we're going to go ahead and take a listen to it right now.
So you think that Ken Paxton is he's an ally of Trump, though? He's definitely an ally, or
who?
Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton.
Yeah,
right here.
I thought that was really weird that Stephen made that statement that apparently CBS censored him, and then a day later he released the interview on his YouTube channel. I looked at my YouTube feed, saw that, and was like, "What the hell?" I appreciate you showing that. Thank you very much. By the way, I am in Texas. I think there is a chance that Paxton could be Cornyn. It's freaking weird. Personally, I'm voting for Crockett.
Okay. And why why? I don't mind that choice. I think that she would be a very formidable senator. Why would you vote for her, though?
Ooh, that's a good one. When I first saw her initially on the House floor, I didn't think much of her. As I saw her speak more, I was really impressed with how intelligent she is. Not just how intelligent she is, but the way that she's also there's a certain way that she can communicate to make herself appealable to just regular class voters. She can take the immense amount of energy or information that's in her head, and I really hate to use the word, but I'm going to go ahead and say it, dumb it down to where average people can understand it and be able to convey it in a way that gets people behind her.
I think it's important to recognize how accomplished she is. First of all, she's not dumb. She doesn't sound dumb. She's a very, very articulate and very influential Black woman who deserves to be where she is in the United States House of Representatives, and she deserves to be a candidate for the Senate. I questioned her style months ago, and we know the brouhaha that came from that. But I was only asking a question because I want her to be in a position to win a Senate seat. So she's representing 31 million people as opposed to 766,000. Had the pleasure of meeting her mother, who was an absolutely wonderful woman. And when you look at Jasmine Crockett, here's what we need to know. You don't call people who have law degrees and are licensed to practice law in Texas and Arkansas and federally dumb. Only dummies call somebody like that dumb. She's very smart and she's fiery. I just hope it works for her and doesn't work against her in a red state for 1 or 2 Senate seats. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see what happens, but I'm certainly not rooting against her. I can tell you that much. I'd love to see her on the Senate floor raising hell. It would be something special to behold, to be quite honest with you, but we'll see what happens. 866-967-6887. That's
So there you go. And this is what I want to say, because again, there's been this whole electability and, oh, is she electable or not? Dumbing yourself down. And I don't even want to say dumbing yourself down, making yourself more palatable to white people. There's not evidence that that's going to make them vote for you. Now, in the real world, in the workforce and out in the world, yeah, we know we have to quote unquote code switch, Hi, how you doing? Are you having a great day? You got to speak like that. You can't be like, oh, what's up? You can't do it, right? We understand that. We can't authentically be ourselves. We can be ourselves, but it's a way that we have to present it for it to be palatable for the mass audience, right? So you have to play the game. But also, too, with Jasmine Crockett just being who she is, authentically black, it still is not going to make them quote unquote like her. So being her authentic self and her being real is how she's really going to make the connection with her constituents and also the voters of Texas. Because at the end of the day, one of her main things is to bring out the base. Talarico wants to, let me go ahead and reach out to the other side and hope they come over and da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, you of course want to purge voters, independent voters and MAGA, right? But you also need to turn out your base. If you can't get your base excited for you, you're going to have a hard time trying to get votes, because that's who you really want to turn out. You want to turn out your base. And Jasmine Crockett notices that, hey, we need to get the people who choose to stay home, or the people who say, screw politics, I'm done with it. We need to try to get those people excited to come out and vote. Not worry about trying to get MAGA. Like, listen, they defend Trump over the Epstein files. Like, now they're saying, it's just nothing. It's a hoax. They're agreeing with the stuff that he's saying. They agree with the BS. So you're not going to change those people's minds. It's people who have been disgruntled by the system and feel like it doesn't work for them, proving that, hey, I'm here working for you. And then as well as independents will start coming over once you build that coalition. But your base has to be strong. So whether or not Jasmine Crockett toned it down or not, they would still have something to say just because of who she is. But Stephen A. Smith, put your money where your mouth is. You worth $100 million. Go ahead and give Jasmine Crockett $2.5 million. That's actually illegal. You can't just give somebody $2 million. But listen, Elon Musk did it, but of course he put it through a PAC. But anyway, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It is early voting in Texas, so make sure you guys go out there and vote. March 3rd is the actual primary date, so don't forget about that, you guys. Love y'all. Be safe. And don't forget about the meetup in Las Vegas, April 10th through the 12th. Can't wait to see y'all. Deuces, everybody. Yeah.